But we'll start on our backs. You're welcome to find your way there if you'd like. And we will do some things on our knees. So if you need any sort of padding or anything, or a blanket, those can always come in handy. Hey, Elaine, good to see you. I think Hope sent a playlist, and if you'd like to play that, you can start it whenever. Now would be great. If you don't want to listen to it, that's cool too. We'll get started on our backs, either in a Shavasana or a restorative rest, with the knees bent, feet on the ground, your knees turning in towards each other. Letting ourselves settle here, settling our bodies, finding stillness of body and mind. Invite some big inhales and exhales here, maybe exhaling out of the mouth. Bringing yourself to this space that you're in right now, to your mat. Bringing your hands to each rib cage. So just let your hands gently rest on your rib cage. And as you're inhaling and exhaling, feeling the movement of our ribs. Feeling them expand upwards and outwards. You can visualize your palms filling with air, like a balloon that's being blown up. No need to force anything, letting whatever your breath looks like. You can also place your hands on your belly, just kind of exploring where the breath is living right now. Bringing attention to that contact between hands and your body. Taking 5 to 10 more breaths here. Getting familiar with our breath. Slowly bring your knees into your chest, giving yourself a little hug. Maybe offering some movement, a little hip massage to the hip creases. And then letting those knees fall to one side. Those are both knees fall together. And putting a blanket or pillow in between if you need. And opening up, looking in the opposite direction for this gentle twist. And taking note what the breath feels like here. Maybe sending it to the spine. And gently bringing that back to center. Give yourself a little squeeze, and then let the feet come to the ground, to your mat, and offering just a gentle baby bridge. So maybe just lifting the hips up an inch or so, gentle here. Slowly lowering, maybe rocking the knees back and forth before making our way into a twist on the other side. And letting ourselves arrive, our full body, to our practice. Bring ourselves back to center, giving yourself a little squeeze. Reaching for the outsides of our feet, a gentle, happy baby. And just waking up our legs. Yeah, any organic movement here. And then letting this turn into some rocks, maybe bring the knees in together, rocks along the length of our mat, eventually meeting in a child's pose. Taking your time, maybe pausing in some boat poses. Letting forehead meet the ground. Taking some big breaths into your mat. For our next inhale, we'll meet in tabletop on our hands and knees, feeling our weight distributed between each limb. And then going into some cat and cows here on your own timing and rhythm, connecting our inhales and exhales. And letting this go wherever feels good right now. That might be some circular movement. Looking over our shoulders. So taking our time, letting the spine explore and maybe move either in familiar or maybe some new ways today. Meeting back in a neutral spine, we'll extend our right leg behind us, lifting the foot off the ground. Here we can think about pressing the left shin into the ground for stability, feeling energy coming out of the heel, our glute and our core are engaged. And then we'll slowly bend that knee so it's a right angle. And then let that knee come along the side of your hip. And then it's going to meet your knee, making a circle here. So it's going to come down to your other knee, and then coming back to its original position. So taking some time to explore the circular movement as we And noticing what is engaging in both glutes, going in different directions. And then extending that leg back behind us, stretching that leg straight. We'll bring the knee to nose. And then stepping it forward in between our hands, coming into a kneel position. Sorry, so not quite a low lunge, kind of a kneel. Legs are at 90-degree angle. We'll take a moment here before doing a low lunge, really pushing our shin into the ground, and then letting the head just bow a little bit here. Feeling, you can really feel expansion in the front of that left leg and the hip. You might move the head up and down a bit, noticing what feels different. And then shifting that weight forward, coming into a low lunge. Your hands can meet the ground if you need. And eventually bringing our arms up, clasping the hands. Slight tilt towards the ceiling, keeping our core and rib cage connected, engaged. And then releasing our hands down to the ground, shifting our hips back, coming into a runner's stretch, stretching that front leg, flexing the toes, taking a halfway lift here before letting ourselves melt over this front leg. Letting the head hang heavy, taking note of the sensation in the back of the leg. You might point and flex the toe. And shifting back into our low lunge. We'll meet in child's pose. So letting that foot go back, sinking the hips back. And we'll we'll move our hands towards the right for just a little twist or sort of stretch on the left side. So arms go towards the right, sinking our weight firmly planted in the left hip. You can imagine sending most of your breath to the left side here, the left back rib cage. Bringing the hands back to center, meeting in our tabletop. We offer another cat and cow here. And finding ourselves in a neutral tabletop, lifting that left heel back, energy coming out of that heel, planting the right shin into the ground for balance. And then bending that knee into a right angle. And then shifting that knee, turning it out, coming to the side of our hip, in line with our hip, and then letting it come meet the right knee. Making some circles. And going slow. Switching up in different directions. Then extending that heel behind us, stretching the leg. We'll step that foot forward, coming into our kneel. Hands can be on the side or rest them on your hips. Really pressing that right shin into the ground and letting the head bow. Noticing the sensation in the front of the right hip, right quad. And maybe moving the head up and down. And then shifting our weight forward, coming into the low lunge on the left side. Reaching the arms up, clasping our hands, and gently shining that chest towards your ceiling. Really noticing what our ribcage expansion feels like here. And letting the hands come down to the mat, shifting the weight back, coming into our runner stretch, flexing that foot, taking a little halfway lift before melting over that leg. Head hang heavy. Pointing and flexing that foot if it feels good. Shifting our weight back into our low lunge, and then meeting back in child's pose. Sinking the hips back, and then letting our hands walk over towards the left. Sinking our weight back into our right hip, our right sit bone. Here, imagining if we can send our breath to our back right rib cage. Coming back to center, we'll meet in down dog, taking our time getting there, tucking the toes, lifting the hips, firmly planting our full palm into the ground. Maybe bending and stretching the legs here. Shifting our weight forward into plank, taking 3 big breaths here, feeling our core connecting. And then exhale, lowering all the way down to the mat. Adjusting the arms for a cobra, rolling the shoulders back and down, and gently lifting the chest up. Releasing, and we'll meet back in down dog. Maybe going through tabletop to get there. And we'll go through that again. Inhaling, lifting forward into plank. Taking 2 breaths here. And exhale, lowering down. Coming into cobra, dropping the shoulders, lifting the chest up. And meeting back in down dog. And we'll do that one more time. Just connecting one breath to each movement. So inhale, shifting forward. And then exhale, lowering. And inhale, dropping the shoulders, lifting up, cobra or up dog. And meeting back in down dog. Taking note of any heat building in the body. And looking forward in between your hands, we'll step or hop forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming all the way up to standing, arms look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And letting the hands come around to our sides. Mountain pose, feeling our weight equally distributed between our feet. Taking notice of all the different muscles and joints that are working together to keep us upright. We'll inhale, lifting our arms, looking up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, planting our hands into the mat. Stepping back to plank. Going through your flow or going to down dog, your choice. Meet in down dog. 3 breaths here in down dog. Next, exhale, looking forward, stepping the feet to the top of your mat. And coming all the way up to standing, arms lift up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll go through our Sunny salutation a couple more times. Inhale, looking up, lifting our arms, and exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. And exhale, planting our hands into the mat, going through your flow, meeting in down dog, whatever that looks like today. Give yourself permission to challenge and give yourself rest if you need. Connecting our breath to our movement. Moving at the top of our mat, stepping forward, coming all the way up to standing. Hands are at center. One more inhale, lifting up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. And planting our hands into the mat, going through your flow. Inhale, lifting that right heel up towards the sky, 3-legged dog. Stepping it forward, coming into a warrior 1. So that back foot twists down, right foot pointed towards the front, lifting our arms up. Feeling both feet firmly planted into the ground, sinking into that front leg. Finding a point to focus on. Dropping any tension in the shoulders, in the jaw. And then connecting our hands at the back of our base of our spine, pulling the shoulders back for proud warrior. Our chest is shining towards the ceiling. Still staying connected to our core to protect our back. Big inhale, and then exhale, releasing into humble warrior, folding forward, letting that shoulder come into a little bit of a shoulder rinse. And releasing our hands to the ground. Meeting in down dog, going through your flow if you'd like. Inhale, lifting that left heel towards the ceiling, stepping it forward, coming into warrior 1 on the other side. Back foot twists down, shifting the arms up. Sinking into that front leg. And connecting our hands to the base of our spine, rolling the shoulders back, coming into proud warrior. And exhale, folding forward. Humble warrior. And releasing the hand, stepping that back foot forward, taking a halfway lift, folding forward, and then coming all the way up to standing. Arms lift up. Then sinking the hips back, coming into chair pose. Keeping the knees straight above the middle toes, sinking our weight back, taking your version of the arms, you might cactus them, bring them to heart center. Whatever feels good right now. Maybe sinking a little lower, and the weight in the back of the heels. And then releasing forward fold. Hands meet the ground, we'll meet in down dog. Inhale that right heel up towards the ceiling. Big inhale and exhale, bringing that right knee to right elbow. Inhale, lifting back up to three-legged dog. And exhale, knee to opposite elbow. And lifting up. And then exhale, knee to nose and stepping it forward, coming into our warrior one. Arms lift up here. Dropping the shoulders. And then we're going to shift our upper body towards what's in diagonal with our back leg. Noticing how this changes, any feeling in the front leg. Taking a big breath here, we're going to turn towards our right, letting the right arm come down. And just as a slight twist here, looking over our right shoulder and then coming back to center. And then letting the left arm come down, looking over our left shoulder. We're just doing this a couple times. Sometimes I think our movement distracts me from all the work that my legs are doing. And noticing how your core engages differently with each twist. And then bringing our upper body back upright, stretching that front leg. Ooh, letting that feel good. We'll let our hands come down to our hips, stepping that back foot forward, preparing for pyramid pose. So we'll take a slight arch here, actually shining the chest up and then letting ourselves fold forward. If you need to grab a wall or a block or anything, do whatever you need to support your balance here. And taking a halfway lift before letting yourself melt over this front leg. And then planting our left hand into the ground, open up into a twist towards the right. And this takes a lot of balance, making any adjustment with your legs if you need, maybe spreading them a little bit apart. And then releasing both hands down to the ground, meeting back in our down dog, option to go through your flow. Just meet us right there. Inhale, lifting that left heel up towards the ground, up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, bringing left knee to left elbow. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, left knee to opposite elbow. And up. And then knee to nose, stepping it forward, coming into our warrior one. Finding our arm, both our arms extended. Feeling really solid here. And then shifting our upper body, so it's like a diagonal, feeling that line from the edge of our heel all the way through our crown. And then letting that left arm drop down as you turn towards the left. Take notice of what is engaging to hold you here, lifting up, and twisting to the other side. Letting this be fluid. Admiring both our strength and grace here. And then we'll shifting our upper body back up, stretching that front leg, enjoying that release, and then stepping that back foot in, preparing for pyramid. Letting the chest expand before folding forward. Maybe offering a slight bend in that front leg. Taking a halfway lift, making space for this stretch and balance. And planting that right hand into the ground, opening up towards a twist. Maybe making any adjustments with your feet if you need. Looking over towards the left. And letting that hand come back towards the ground, stepping the back foot forward. Letting ourselves release this forward fold. Maybe grabbing opposite elbows, bending and stretching the leg. Actually, that could feel really good if you bend your left knee, planting the left hand into the ground and opening up towards the right. And then switching, bending the right knee, or right hand plants into the ground, opening up. Yeah. And then releasing that. Coming all the way up to standing, arms lift up. And then finding another chair pose. This time cactusing our arms, letting them be like goalposts, 90-degree angles. Feeling the chest wide. Sinking a little lower. And then releasing forward fold. Take a halfway lift. And then we'll meet in a child's pose. Taking a little breather. Grabbing a sip of water if you need. Taking this moment to check in with yourself, with your breath. When you're ready, we'll meet in down dog. Inhale, lifting that right heel, stepping it forward, coming into our warrior one. Left foot twists back. Arms are long, shoulders dropped. Taking an inhale, and then exhale, we're going to eagle our arms. So bringing the right arm underneath the left. Inhale, lifting the chest up. Feeling the stretch in our shoulder blades. And then shifting our weight forward. Again, finding this lean, this diagonal, this line from heel to crown. And then stepping that back foot forward, preparing for airplane, where you can keep your arms where they're at, or they can release into more of a regular airplane behind you. So whatever balance, whatever will support your balance. Of course, using any other supports around you. And here in our airplane, feeling really firm, that bottom leg, bottom foot fully pressing into the ground. Taking note of the engagement in our back body. We're feeling a slight arch in our back. And then releasing into a standing split. So that leg goes up as we fold over the front of that leg. And letting that foot drop. Taking a moment in this forward fold. We'll halfway lift. And exhale, putting your hands into the mat, meeting in down dog, going through your flow, if you'd like. And inhale, lifting that left heel towards the ceiling, and then stepping it forward, coming into our warrior one. Arms reaching up, dropping the shoulders, inhale. And then exhale, coming into our eagle arms, dropping, letting that left hand come underneath the right. Letting ourselves find a little arch here. Noticing the chest expansion feels different here as our arms are coming together. And that sensation in the back of the ribs. And then shifting our weight forward. Stepping that back foot in as we find our airplane. Again, any arm variation here. Just keeping that upper body lifting. And then releasing into our standing split. That leg goes up. And then letting that left leg come down. We'll move the feet a little bit wider, like the width of our mat. And then dropping our hips down, coming into a squat, a goddess squat. Elbows pressing into our inner thighs. So pushing into our thighs again, letting our chest expand here. And then lowering our head, we can let our hands reach out. Letting a curve in the spine happen, dropping our head down. If you like, you can move through that. Again, even here in this squat, if we can find fluidity in our spine. And then lifting the hips up. Shaking it out with our legs. And we'll come all the way up to standing. Lifting the arms up, letting the hands come to the side. Taking a few breaths here. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, sinking our hips back, coming into another chair. And this time coming into eagle. We'll lift that right foot up, or sorry, right knee lifts up over, crossing over the left. Right hand is underneath. Taking any variation here, maybe your hands touch, maybe they don't. Maybe you support yourself with a little kickstand. And once we're finding that position, sinking in, feeling our standing foot very strong. Option to stay here or coming into another airplane. You would stretch that leg, bringing that right knee up, and then letting that right heel lead as we shift our weight forward, coming again into an airplane. And any arm variation that supports your balance. And releasing that, coming up to standing. Arms look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Taking inventory. How the different sides of our body feel. Arms lift up as you prepare for eagle to the other side, sinking the hips back. Lifting that right knee up and over the, left over the right. Legs. Left arm comes under the right arm. Taking your variation, noting that it might be different on the side. And then if you would like, coming into an airplane, so stretching that standing leg, lifting that left knee, and then letting that left heel press backwards as you shift the upper body forward. Bottom leg might be a little shaky, so try and taking any variation of the arms or bringing different balance. And releasing that, shaking the legs out a little bit. I'm feeling that. And then we're going to take one more chair pose just to get us to the ground. You also can find the ground in another way, but we'll letting our bum come to the ground. So arms lift up, sinking our hips back, letting this come to the ground. Whew. We'll meet in a boat pose. Connecting with our core. You can let our feet kind of alternate and dipping our toes in an imaginary pool puddle in front of us. And then letting our feet meet the ground, arms behind us, hands, fingers pointing towards our heels. We're gonna lift into a reverse tabletop. We're enjoying this expression of the front of our body. And then lifting our right leg up. It might just be a little bit, or you might fully extend it towards the ceiling. And then letting that foot hook connect to our left knee, dropping our hips, coming into a kind of version of a figure four. Nice. We'll hang out here for a little bit. You can stay in this seat, or you can let yourself find this figure four on your back. So taking whatever version you like. If you're sitting up, you might let the head bow forward. And then if you're on the ground, you pulling, you might reach for that left thigh. Taking any variation here. Now we'll all meet on our backs in this figure four, extending that left leg long, bringing that right knee into your chest and letting that cross over for a twist. That knee might reach the ground, or you can set it on a pillow, looking over towards our right arm. And a few other things you could try here. If an eagling of the legs feels good, you could do that. You can also reach back for that left leg. A little added back then. And coming back to center, letting both knees bend, letting feet maybe a little wide, knees come closer towards each other for restorative rest. We'll take about 5 breaths here, just taking note of how the different sides of our body might feel right now. And getting in touch with our breath. And bringing our chest up a little bit under our forearms, preparing for another reverse tabletop. Putting the palms onto the ground, feet planted into our mat. And then shifting our hips up, letting that head drop back if it feels okay. And lifting that left foot off the ground, maybe just an inch or maybe fully extending it towards the ceiling. And letting that foot connect to your right knee, dropping our hips down, coming into whatever version of figure four you would like here. So here, seated or rocking back onto your back. Nice sort of organic movement. Letting the head drop forward, or rocking the knees, rocking forward. Letting yourself be guided by what you feel. And we'll all make our way onto our backs. Bringing that left knee into your chest, extending our right leg long, and letting that knee drop over towards your right. Coming into a twist, taking any modifications, any supports you need. And coming back to center, bringing your knees into your chest, and then letting, take a moment here. You can let our feet find the ground, preparing for a bridge. Firmly planting our feet into the ground, arms can be right along our sides as we let the hips float up. Reaching for your palms together underneath. And slowly lowering, letting your knees do whatever. They might spread apart, they might fall in. And then taking these next couple minutes for any other movements you might need before ending your practice. Maybe another bridge, could be a shoulder stand or happy baby. Give yourself this minute to be guided by the sensation that feels good right now. Taking your time as you find the final resting pose. Letting our breath find natural rhythm, releasing any need to control it. Once you settle into Shavasana, you might rest a hand on your chest or your belly. Letting it fully release to the side. Giving yourself permission to fully release, to feel comfortable.